very few truly course-changing moments in media, especially in animated media. Some moments that come to mind are Season 1, Episode 3 of Arcane, when Powder's bomb goes off, killing most if not all of her family, turning her into Jinx. In Invincible, at the end of the very first episode, when Omni-Man comes out of nowhere and brutally murders the Guardians of Earth. And one of my personal favourites, when Frieza ends up killing Krillin, putting Goku in such a large rage that it produces possibly the most iconic fight and transformation of all time. But with all these course-defining moments, there's only one that I think has had such a big impact that you can still feel the effect of it 1,300 chapters from when it occurred. Hello, my name is that MF Leroy, and I will hopefully be your guide for a video essay related to any form of media content, whether it be a comic, an anime, a manhwa, or that one show that everyone has seemed to have forgotten about. I will try and cover it in a hopefully calm and concise manner. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, a like, a comment, or hitting that subscribe button is always highly appreciated. And today I will be covering yet again Hajime No Ippo to talk about the moment that changed the series forever. As the towel is thrown into the ring, the camera pans. We see everyone's faces from Kamigawa to Kimura and Aoki to even Takamura. A face we haven't seen anyone to display, at least towards Ippo. A face of shock. Ippo's first loss is a staple moment in the anime. Yes, we have seen him lose before. From the start of the series, we saw Ippo getting bullied by Umezawa and co. Then being defeated by Miyata in his first ever boxing experience. And just a few episodes and chapters ago, we saw him getting absolutely outclassed by AG Dante in a spar, the same man who beat him in the moment we are about to talk about. But this loss specifically has a separate level of depth to it. And the reason why I think this is the impact on everyone in the series. And as a whole, it is truly what makes Ippo not only feel more human, but more of a character rather than a tool for Morikawa to use. So with rent due, I thought it was a good time to yap about another aspect that makes this series so great. So let's get started. We start to see the effects of the loss starting in episode 58 or chapter 194 for my manga onlys, so I'm gonna be looking at you, Pa. As always, if you haven't seen this highly ambitious cinematic masterpiece, I would advise you to go pause my video and go and watch this amazing piece of artwork by George Morikawa. Okay, that's enough glaze. Anyways, the beginning of episode 58, though amazing with its context of both boxers congratulating each other, the crowd giving their standing ovations to the fight, and the setup of future fights through the appearance of Ippo's previous opponents, though amazing, is not major factors to why this episode and this moment is so important to the show. It's what happens behind closed doors that truly creates and displays Ippo's true character, of which I believe can be broken down into 3 segments. When everyone, in which I mean Ippo and his corner, gets to the pre-fight dressing room, we see that everyone is sitting in complete silence. This is a scenario we haven't really seen in Hajime No Ippo. Not just in Ippo's case, but in most fights we have been and will be shown. From integral fights, like in the case of Mashiba and Sendo, to minor ones like Ozuma or Kobayashi, Once everyone went into their respective dressing rooms, the fight truly felt over. Yes, there was less of an impact to us, the reader, as we follow Ippo and not any of these other characters, but the stark contrast of the feeling of this scene is just something I felt needs to be said. The silence is then ended by Coach Kamogawa stating that he is to blame, and that he wishes that there was more time for him to evaluate the strategies that he used. But then Ippo reverses the situation and attempts to absorb all the blame, and it is in this moment he says something that becomes a reoccurring trope in the series.
I really don't remember anything, but I probably wasn't able to accomplish what you told me to do, Chief. I'm really sorry. I promise I'll try harder next time. Please don't lose faith in me.
Please do not lose your faith in me. This moment carries a profound weight to it. It's a vulnerable moment for Ippo, where he acknowledges the gap between his current self and the greatness he aspires to become. Yet it is also a testament to how his unbroken spirit stays, despite the crushing defeat. These words prove that Ippo hasn't lost any of his determination. His resolve to grow stronger and to honor the efforts of those who have put faith in him is something that truly changes, at least for me, the perception we've had for Ippo since the beginning of the series. Following this scene, the show returns to a more uplifting tone. We get a surprisingly deep congratulations from Takamura. That is shortly ruined by Aoki and Komura as usual. We flash through some conversations between Umezawa and Ippo, where we get to hear how the impact of the fight and Ippo as a person has affected him. And lastly, we get a mini short of Ippo and Kumi going on their first date, until Mashiba joins as a third wheel. Throughout these scenes, though they follow the usual Hajime No Ippo formula, we, or at least I, get a feeling of unrest, an uneasy feeling through these moments I mentioned. We see that though these events are happening right in front of us, they do not feel like the main focus of the story, as we see Ippo himself is not focusing on these events, whether it's him being absent-minded whilst Umezawa was talking to him, or him focusing on Karakuen Hall whilst at the amusement park with Kumi. These small instances are indicators that these moments that Ippo strived for, like having a great match, bringing the crowd a spectacle, or being with the girl he likes, though enjoyable, is not what he needed. It all comes to a boiling point when Kumi heads off, leaving Ippo with himself and his own thoughts. He notices people entering the Karakuen Hall and begins remembering the most recent match. He wonders how happy his friends would have been and what he would have done if he had won. He approaches the steps, and as he climbs, he begins to belittle himself, saying things like, "I can't believe what an inexcusable thing I did. I thought it was good enough to have a good fight, and I wanted to make them happy." As he climbed, the phrases got worse and worse until he reached right before the top of the stairs, where he hears a family enjoying themselves to their heart's content. And at the end, Ippo couldn't climb another step and says what he truly needed, and that was to win. When we were first introduced to Ippo, I felt like he was more of a basic character. Yes, he had amazing factors to his personality, and his story has always kept me intrigued, but there hadn't really been any moment until that part where I felt like I could feel what Ippo was feeling. When Vogue sat down to talk with Ippo about how he must win for his mother's health, that spoke to me. When Mashiba fought like hell so he would be given the chances that he wasn't given, that spoke to me. And with this moment with Ippo breaking down, realizing the goal that he had been pursuing, his whole boxing career has been taken away. That spoke to me. But hey, that's just my 2 pesos about the moment, and I know there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of other YouTubers who have different episodes / chapters as their course / series altering moments. So I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys think that this is the moment that changed the course of Hajime no Ippo, or is it one of the other thousands of chapters that changed the course of the anime? Tell me in the comments below. But for now,
now listen to me, boys! Always remember these words. Work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. That is the Turtle Hermit way.